This is the Fitbit Versa 3, one of the two newest additions to the Fitbit fitness catalog. And let me say this first. One of the great things about owning a Fitbit is that you become part of this really large and strong user community, and that you have access to a crap ton of accessories to customize your watch all you want, and subsequently keep the bean counters at Fitbit happy. Now, a while back in my Amazfit Gear 2 video, I stated that the Versa 3 is actually a better activity tracker and has actual voice assistant support for $50 more if you compare them both at full retail price. Well, that was then, and this is now. After spending some significant time with the Versa 3, do I still come to the same conclusion? Let's find out after these messages, and by the way, Merry Christmas, let's do this! Alright guys, so here is the Versa 3, and this thing packs some interesting specs, especially when you compare this with its way more expensive sibling, the Sense. So if you happen to be cross-shopping between the two, you'll find that these two share a lot in common in many areas. So let's jump right in real quick. This thing retails for $230, and it's not rare for this to go on sale either. I got this for $199. There are three different colors available. There's black on black, which means a black band and a black aluminum frame, or pink on gold frame, or this one, midnight blue on gold frame. It also has a 1.58-inch AMOLED screen, really nice and bright and punchy even in bright daylight, 336 ppi density protected by a decent layer of Gorilla Glass 3, decent, scratch resistance anyway. It has proper 5 ATM water resistance, so if you want to hit the pool with it, you can do it. It also weighs a pretty light 40 grams with the small medium watch band, or 42 grams with the medium large band, and both of them are included in the box right here. Battery life is supposedly 6 days, that's what's advertised, but if you turn on notifications or always on screen like this one, like I did, I was seeing closer to 3 to 4 days, maybe 4.5 days max. There's also NFC on board, but the only thing you can do with it is using Fitbit Pay. You can't use any other kind of contactless payment, or even pair your other Bluetooth devices or headphones and such, or speakers with NFC. If you like to leverage your voice assistants, then you can either set up Alexa or Google Assistant on this watch, which is really nice to have that option. You can also track 20 different exercises, and as I mentioned earlier, you can pair this with your other Bluetooth devices. This thing has Bluetooth 5.0 LE on board. Alright, let's take a closer look at the watch. And in case you're wondering, this thing is perfectly square. It's 40 millimeters across as well as tall. Thickness is 12.35 millimeters. Some of you may actually find this bulky, and it's kind of true because visually a square is more bulky than a circle or a rectangle. But I'll tell you what, the weight is really well distributed thanks to this almost flat bottom casing. We'll look at this in a second closer. Now, let me see if I can activate the screen, full screen on. You can see the bezel right here is about 3 to 4 millimeters away from the edge, so obviously it's not edge to edge. Some of you may be turned off by this, and this alone kind of knocks the watch back a couple of generations. Kind of looks old school. But other than that, guys, this thing is really well put together. The seams are nice and tight. The quality that they use, the build quality and the materials that they use are really spot on. The only place that my fingernails catch is the sensor array where it meets the frame, but that's about it, and that's normal for most watches. Even here where the glass meets the frame too, it's barely anything there. The PU quality is really nice on the band as well. The clasp system is a combination of, say, an Apple Watch nub right here, as well as something you see more in Samsungs where the access band, watch band is hidden behind against your wrist, which is really nice when you're doing vigorous activities. It doesn't come loose as easily. On the right side of the watch, you find the speaker, barometric sensor, and the first microphone port, and on the left side, you find the other microphone, as well as the touch capacitive main control button. There are no physical buttons on this whole entire device. Now, on the back side here, you'll find this huge sensor array or panel that's shared with the Sense actually. The only difference between the two is that the Sense has dedicated EKG and skin temperature sensors. This watch does skin temperature sensing or monitoring, but it does so by leveraging data from other sources and then guesstimating from there. Now, I can imagine over time, after months of use, this panel is going to be looking all scratched up and just hideous. So just bear that in mind, that it's not very durable looking in terms of, aesthetics. But other than that, this thing is very well put together. The 4 golden pins right here are for the magnetic charging dock, and unfortunately, they only align one specific direction that way. You can't do it any other orientation. It'll just reject it. And these bright diodes right here, that's the Pure Pulse 2.0 optical heart rate sensor. You see it come on from time to time. and they're flanked by IR and red sensors right here that do SpO2 monitoring. And also right here, you can also see the release for the bands itself. All you have to do is press right down here and it pops right out. Really one of the easiest I've used so far. Popping it back in, you hear the click and you're done. The only downside I can see to this is after many showers and such, skin flake and soap scum is going to get stuck in there and you're going to have to clean it way more often than you like. So right down there and over here, they're just going to gather really easily. So just bear that in mind. Now, in terms of the watch UI, this thing is really easy to navigate and figure out, especially if you've used other smartwatches in the past. And even if you're new to this, it's really easy to pick up. Say, for example, in the home screen here, if you swipe down, you have notifications. If you swipe from the bottom, you get your summary of your day with weather and fitness goals and such like that. If you swipe from the left, you have quick settings. If you swipe from the right, from the home screen, you have access to different apps. Now, if you keep scrolling, you see some familiar applications like Spotify and Deezer and such like that, and even Starbucks. Yes, you can install apps from your phone into your watch and use it from here. The downside to this, in terms of media playback, for example, is Fitbit did a way for you to upload your own music to listen to. You have to use one of these services. And if you want to use them offline, you need a premium account. That's a really big bummer. So, thumbs down to that decision. Now, back here, I want to show you this with Alexa and Google Assistant, your voice assistants. One thing I noticed is with Google Assistant, there's no audio feedback when you ask for an answer. With Alexa, there is. Now, for example, if I try this again, Alexa, what is the weather?
Right now in Hampton, it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies.
So it's responding to me vocally, but with Google Assistant, for some reason, it's not. So something to bear in mind as well. So, and also something you notice, I'm not sure if you noticed as I went through this, when I navigate between the screens, there is some slight lag and jitter. I think it's just an optimization issue and also probably the chipset, because Fitbit does not tell us how many RAM or what processor it uses. And also the other thing is to bear in mind is I think Fitbit is just on the way out of just letting go of this OS, the Fitbit OS, because as Google is planning to buy it, I think they might transition into a more Wear OS environment. Alright guys, so here is the Fitbit app, and I'm not going to delve into every single part of this application because honestly we'll be here all day if we do. There's so much to do, so much to customize. But anyways, this is the main screen. This is a one-stop shop, everything at a glance where you can see if you've met your goals, how far you've come to your steps or calorie count and such. And if you tap on any of these cards, you can go into further detail of what you've done for the day or even the week and such like that. You can add or track your exercises from here and even log your food and water and such. This is not as powerful, I noticed, as MyFitnessPal. In MyFitnessPal, can add recipes, but this one has the ability for you to estimate calories on any kind of food item you scan. Let me scan this one real quick, and you see you have Milano cookies and such, and you can just add this to your food for the day, and it'll tell you whether you're over or not, which is really nice. And this whole page is customizable. You can drag and drop all the different cards to whatever arrangement you like and take them out as you need. So it can be as complex or simple as you like. And down here at the bottom, you have 5 different tabs, and the next one over from today is called Discover. And here you can watch different individual videos of different exercises you want to do, or even sign up for different programs that you can follow on a day-to-day basis. The next one over is Community. This is one of the strengths of Fitbit. When you sign into the app, for example, and you say, I like cycling or walking and such, it will pair you with different communities and groups, which is really nice, and you can keep each other motivated. And if you have friends, like I don't, but if you have friends, you can add your friends who have Fitbits too, and then keep each other accountable, which is really nice. And the next tab over is Premium. If you have tons of money to spend, or if you have other features that you like activated and that you don't have right now, you can join it. And yeah, this is the cost of it. I'm not a fan of these kind of paywalls, but it's there if you like it. Now back to the home screen on the top left here. If you tap this icon, you have access to all your different settings for your account, your watch, and even your application. All the application settings are under this heading right here called the settings. But I want to focus most on the watch. If you tap this, you see the screen where all the icons represent some of your major settings, and down here are all your minor ones, like what Wi-Fi you want to connect your watch to or what wrist you're wearing your watch on. But let's check out Voice Assistant, for example. Once you have both logged in, you can switch between the two really quickly. They can't coexist, but it's really easy and fast to switch between the two. Now under Wallet, it's Fitbit Pay. You just have to pair this with a bank account and you're good to go. Now, something you need to notice though is under clock faces, if you have an ad blocker on any of your device, this is what you're going to see. No internet connection. Likewise with apps, can't access that there. And under media, the same thing. If I want to access Spotify, for example, same thing. So if you have an ad blocker, turn it off. Now, this is the app in a gist. Let's move on to the next part. So guys, if you haven't heard already, I'm trying to get to 10,000 subs and only you can get me there. So if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel by mashing and killing the button down below and tell your friends and family about it as well. Thank you in advance for your help guys. Now back to the program and get me to 10,000 subs. Alright, so here are some of my favorite things of the Versa 3, and the first one of all is that for the price in the fitness category anyway, and mind you, this is not a Sunto or a Timex watch because those are fitness centric devices and they cost a whole lot more, so we're just gonna forget about those things. But for the price, this thing, it just goes the extra mile in almost every category rather than just being a regular fitness tracker. Even compared to say an Apple Watch or Wear OS, this thing outperforms them in many areas. One of my favorite features is the auto tracking of specific activities, like say if you're swimming, running, walking, or cycling, for example. If you take your or you walk your child to school, or if you walk down to the supermarket, or if you walk to the park, or if you cycle to work and can't be bothered to just turn on activity tracking, or if you forget, this thing can be set to do it automatically. 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, it will automatically start to track. Sure, there's no GPS data, but it at least tracks your steps and calorie burn. And another feature that I really like is called Active Zone Minutes. This is when the watch compares your resting heart rate with your exercise effort, and if it figures out that your heart rate is a little bit too low for what the target should be, it will gently coax you and push you to bump up the intensity a little bit with a little vibration on your wrist. This is what I call slacker motivation mode. It's very similar to when your PE teacher used to yell at you in high school. Aaron, I know you're done with your 30 push-ups, but you did 30 lady push-ups, so get back out there and do it right. Dang it. Now, any fitness tracker with tons of features is basically useless if it's not accurate. With the Versa 3, it's not a problem because this has good accuracy with tracking sleep, steps, heart rate, and GPS as well. With the heart rate, for example, I'm about 3 to 5 BPM off from my manual testing, and with GPS, when I track on the path and just zoom in on the map, for example, I'm about 2 meters off from my actual trajectory. So that's pretty good. One thing this watch is really good at doing is striking the right balance of being a semi-smartwatch. Let me explain this real quick. This thing is not a smartwatch full-blown. It is a glorified fitness tracker with smartwatch abilities tacked on. You have access to popular apps. You have access to Alexa and Google Assistant where you can control your home and pull up information. You can even do quick replies. You can't type text or emails and respond to them manually or in the traditional sense, but you can set up quick replies in the app and then do it in the phone and just by tapping a response, and then you're done. So it makes you question whether you really need a smartwatch where you're tied to really short battery life and really high price. Alright, now into the negatives. And my first issue with this, and by the way, if you're going to be watching just one negative, it's this one. This is the worst offender of all, is this dang stupid control capacitive button right here. It works 20% of the time, and even then it's like a lottery. I don't know when it's going to work. I'm not sure what Fitbit was doing here or thinking. They have this on the Sense as well. And yeah, I'm not sure if they're trying to preserve water resistance, because if you swim with this, technically you can press it, but it doesn't work most of the time, so at least they could have used a physical button or some kind of membrane covered button. So Fitbit, this is a big fail. I hate this. I really do. And what's up with this Fitbit? In order for me to download an app or watch face onto the Fitbit app, and therefore the watch, I had to turn off my ad blocker on my phone, which is really weird. And this is not an isolated incident, guys. It's all over the internet. In the forums, everyone has to turn off their ad blockers in order to download anything on the Fitbit app. That's just kind of weird. And why did Fitbit in their ultimate wisdom decide to nix uploading of our own music is beyond me. Now, my last negative with the watch, and really Fitbit in general because this is their motto now, is that power features like heart rate variability or skin temperature variation tracking or deeper health metrics, which is really important to a lot of us, is all stuck behind a paywall. That's just ridiculous. So here we are at my final thoughts. And as I mentioned earlier, guys, this watch strikes the right balance of being a dedicated fitness tracker with the smarts of a smartwatch without all the complexity or the poor battery life or the high price. And this thing looks stylish enough for you to even wear day to day, and if you get tired of it, you just accessorize it. And it's also light and powerful and accurate enough for you to wear on a multi-day hike or even on a triathlon. Now, if you're cross-shopping between this and the Sense, I don't see why you need to spend $80 to $100 more for a couple more features that most of us average users won't ever use. So I want to give the Versa 3 a GearUP score of 7.5 out of 10. This is pretty darn good, so you should definitely go check it out. Am I holding this the right side? Yes, 7.5 out of 10. And I'm afraid though, this might be the last generation before Google buys this over, and who knows what's gonna happen then. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this episode. And on behalf of everybody here at GearUP, which is really just me, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Do have a safe time with friends and family. And speaking of family, I'm going to be taking some time off next week, so you won't see me until year 2021. When we do come back, we're going to be checking out this guy, the Soundcore Q30. This has been one of my most requested videos, and I'm really excited to test this one out for you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to this channel. If you like what I do, mash and kill that button down below to show your support. So thank you in advance. Visit my Patreon page down here too if you like. And remember the thumbs up if you like this video, yeah, super important. And comment nicely down below. And thumbs down. Thumbs down, and this is the last one of 2020. Can you believe it? Thumbs down if you're still wrapping presents like it's so 2019. That's so old school, guys, because in the year of the COVID, things have changed and moved on. We've amassed so many plastic bags from grocery shopping and such because they ban us from using our own grocery bags. We've amassed so many plastic bags, I thought, why not just use that and repurpose that as gift wrappers? So I have this. This is from Santa. Look at this one. I have my AirPod Max in here, all wrapped up nicely. See, this is pretty classy, right? And another idea for plastic bags is they make great stockings. See, I have this on a hanger with chocolates in here. This is pretty cool. Yeah, this is so gonna catch on. I feel like Martha Stewart in jail or something doing show and tell. But anyways, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you do something nice and kind for somebody. Show some love and go out with a bang of year 2020. And I'll see you next time. God bless.